Coming up on Focal Point. You don't have to look far to realize that Spartans are changing the world.
We were part of this process that potentially could open up the case.
Developing technology to allow a basketball player to play with a broken hand.
It actually rides around the edge.
To entrepreneurs juggling chemistry class with starting their own business.
It's not easy. It's definitely finding that proper balance.
And we want to celebrate them with this show. We like to call it the great things Spartans are doing.
Welcome to Focal Point. I'm Tierra, Riddick.
And I'm Christine Kanerva.
Michigan State University has alumni spread all over the world, and each one of them with an interesting story.
This special edition of Focal Point where we feature Spartans who are doing great things, and we like to call them cool things at MSU and around the country.
Michigan State's campus is full of extraordinary students. Brianna Macrick is one of them. Not only is she a full-time student, but she's also a businesswoman, and she just turned 21 years old. Focal Point's Ruta Olsenaida has more on Bree and her company.
Brianna Macrick's plate is full of schoolwork.
I'm always in a rush and just really anxious to get to the next place.
A junior at Michigan State University.
I'm in an ISS class, an advertising class, an accounting class.
Who may be in a class all by herself.
And here is Bright Bites.
Because between classes, she works, not for someone else. Brianna runs her own company.
It's not easy. It's definitely finding that proper balance between school, business, and work, and sometimes it's not a pretty balance.
Brianna created Bright Bites.
Right now what I'm doing is I'm scaling all of our seeds. So in all of our bites, we have organic chia, organic flax, and organic pumpkin seeds.
A handmade snack that looks more like a cake pop than a healthy superfood complete with probiotics.
I was always passionate about nutrition and my health because I had my own digestive problems and was taking daily probiotics. However, I knew there had to be a more convenient way to get my probiotics in.
It all started with an idea at this place on Michigan State's campus.
I heard about the Hatch through an email newsletter and got involved in Startup Weekend, which is a 54-hour weekend that allows you to take your idea to some type of working prototype or website at the end of the weekend.
The hours can get long for Bree and her 3 interns.
Usually we try to do long productions, so we'll be here on Saturday or Sunday for like 6 to 8 hours.
Luckily, they are finding success.
So we make money when we sell to the stores, so the 15 locations that we're in, so we also sell on our website.
Like here at East Lansing Hot Yoga.
You'd think those 2 little bites wouldn't fill you up, but they're super perfect for before and or after yoga.
Oh man, killing it. Red bites are my favorite.
Bree hopes these little bites become a huge national brand.
My dream and my vision is to do it full time after graduation.
And this CEO is on track to do it. She'll just have to do it between advertising and accounting. In East Lansing, Ruta Olsenaida, Focal Point News.
To learn more about Bright Bites or to purchase some snacks online, you can visit britesnacks.com.
It's not just the students at Michigan State in the spotlight, the faculty is part of the team too.
That's right. Tony Black joins us live at Giltner Hall, where usually the lab is full of bugs and beakers, but now might look more like a movie set.
Christine, Tierra, Michigan State has 566 buildings on its campus, from natural sciences to Giltner Hall. Our professor who works in here is used to having the spotlight of a microscope on him, but now has the spotlight of Hollywood.
They filmed it down in the lab where we're going.
In this lab,
Do you have a white pan?
Dr. Eric Benbow studies bugs.
Studies basically any aspect of insects.
He's a forensic entomologist at Michigan State University.
I've had some experience like this. This is much bigger, much larger national level.
A forensic entomologist sounds like something a TV show is made of. And in this case,
Thanks, Doc. Thanks for taking the meeting. I appreciate this.
it was.
We were part of this process that potentially could open up the case.
Dr. Benbow stars in an episode of Smiley Face Killers, The Hunt for Justice on the Oxygen Network.
I don't know if I was nervous. I don't know if I was excited.
In 2005, a body found in a lake north of Grand Rapids. Dr. Benbow's role? Would insects found on the body prove it had been in the lake for 21 days?
When they first presented it to me, it sounded unusual.
His work on the show?
This is essentially what we collected from the pigs.
Proved that wasn't the case.
The absence of aquatic insects or terrestrial insects made it unusual.
Dr. Benbow found the case unusual. This local lab turned TV studio
I'm good with cameras.
was a bit unusual too.
A fixed camera, and then they had someone who had a harness on that would walk around and get different points of view.
For this forensic entomologist,
I would do it again.
he knew there was a bigger picture behind the big picture screen.
To bring justice or some kind of resolve to the family.
The episode aired as the season finale back in February. Dr. Benbow told me his favorite part of it all was that his students were able to help him with the experiment. Christine, Tierra, Dr. Benbow gave his studies to the Muskegon County prosecutor to hopefully reopen the case as a homicide.
Thanks, Tony. Again, that's Tony Black reporting live from Giltner Hall.
And who knows, the new findings could turn into another made-for-TV drama. It can be hard for children to cope with anxiety and even harder sometimes to explain to adults what they are feeling. One MSU student is helping kids figure it all out. We all deal with anxiety in one way or another, and dealing with it may come in different forms. MSU senior Hannah Safferman is no stranger to it either. Heck, she even wrote the book on it.
So actually when I started writing it, I had like no intention of publishing it.
And it is called It's Okay to Be Anxious.
Sometimes parts of your body hurts or you cannot control something.
Hannah studies elementary education and childhood development here at Michigan State University.
A lot of the info can be useful for all ages, not just children.
Her book focuses on coping mechanisms for children with anxiety.
I actually kind of like originally wrote it just for myself, just kind of as like something to do, but I kept looking at it and looking at the children I work with who have anxiety and decided to publish it.
It's not every day you find a children's book written on anxiety, but Hannah is changing that narrative.
I just think it's fantastic that Hannah wrote this book that can help even the youngest of people.
Safferman says she wants kids to know that the emotions they feel are okay and that they are not alone.
I hope it's for kids to be able to know like what they're feeling. It's okay. It doesn't mean they're like a bad person or anything.
You can find Safferman's book for sale at Everybody Reads in Lansing or for purchase on Amazon, Goodreads, and Barnes & Noble.
And we're just getting started with all the great things Spartans are doing. A senior on campus says her childhood inspired her to build her own organization.
Also, Bippity Boppity Boo, a group of students are making dreams come true. Cinderella, Mulan, Elsa, the Little Mermaid, you name it. Meet one group of girls that still dresses up as Disney princesses. Their reasoning behind it will have you inspired. Focal Point's Kendall Ashman has that story.
Cinderella infamously once said,
"They make you feel like a kid again."
"A dream is a wish your heart makes."
I am going to be going as Cinderella.
Bridget Schultz is a founding member of Making a Memory, a group of MSU students with a dream.
It looks more natural once the wig and huge gown is on.
Every Saturday, Bridget dresses up as a Disney princess and visits cancer patients at Sparrow Hospital.
It's a complete life change.
And once the makeup is on, and the wig, and the ball gown, Cinderella suddenly appears before your eyes, along with Snow White and Princess Anna.
I have an idea. Hide and seek.
After the princesses visit Sparrow, they come here, the East Lansing Library, to read to children.
We'll be at the other library next Saturday.
Not only making dreams come true.
Clap your hands twice and say Zaza Zoom.
Here at the library and the hospital.
Even though they're in the hospital, like, nothing is stopping them. They could definitely conquer the world.
But days a little brighter.
So it was a big step for me, but I'm really glad I took it because it has just been so much fun and I've met so many great people.
Well, he already has the bunny.
In East Lansing, Kendall Ashman.
Many chickens.
Focal Point News.
The club called Making a Memory has almost every princess staff.
Yes, they even added superheroes like Spider-Man and a Jedi. Honda Carter now joins us.
Honda, you look like a princess. Have you ever felt like Cinderella?
Well, sometimes, I guess. But I'll tell you what I did find. Someone who was more like a superhero. At least the kid she's helping thinks so.
Separated from my family at such a young age.
It's been a long road for India Young.
Because I felt like, well, I wouldn't be in foster care if I had family members who can, take care of me. But
she felt something a little boy or girl should never have to experience, feeling unwanted.
I was in foster care for, I think, almost 2 years, and I didn't really get comfortable until like a year and a half going into it.
Young was entered into the foster care system when she was just 13 years old. But she hasn't let it define her. Instead, she founded an organization called Fostering Our Youth.
I wanted people to feel my passion about foster care and experiences that youth face because I have personal experience in the foster care system. I wanted to be an advocate for something that was barely spoken about.
Not only is she a senior at Michigan State University, but through Fostering Our Youth, she's helping kids who find themselves in the same situation that she grew up knowing.
I see a lot of things I don't like when it comes to children and people in the child welfare system.
Ikea Lake is a member of Fostering Our Youth. She already knows what she wants to do after college.
Like they're mistreated, and I want to try to help change that.
Young said her organization isn't getting the support that she would like, but she's still hoping it becomes a nonprofit organization in the future.
I guess I just want people to keep an open mind when it comes to those who have previous experience with the foster care system. Sometimes you have to be that person for someone else that you wish you had too,
Young said she's currently in the process of changing the organization's name to Fostering Our Futures. She hopes this will make students aware that you don't have to be in foster care to be a part of their organization.
If you're a student here at Michigan State and a friend asks you to go dancing, we're pretty sure it wouldn't be at the location of our next story. But maybe it's exactly the dance floor for a quick step.
The only salsa this generation usually sees at 10 o'clock at night comes with chips. But instead of diving into bars, these kids prefer the ballroom.
It's Monday through Thursday, every week from 10 p.m. until midnight.
Think of it as Dancing with the Stars, just after chemistry class.
Like a good way to kind of wrap up a stressful day, so it's nice.
It's a Michigan State University club where you can learn how to ballroom dance.
My mother told me prior to uni, if I wanted to pick up girls, I should learn how to formally dance.
And so Brendan Carpio dragged his fingers off the keyboard and put his feet to work.
I majored computer science, which is the exact opposite of anything involving exercise.
Take your partner.
Brendan's grandma would be so proud that he's learning.
And shift to the left.
The quick step.
Shift back to the right. This has always been a place for people to express themselves.
And we'll teach them how to dance, and hopefully they can compete within the next month.
MSU's ballroom dance team is here in Ann Arbor competing against other universities, spinning their way around the dance floor.
Abby Langell and William Woolley dance for MSU. Their favorite?
Samba. Those we had the most fun with it, and we end up doing the best because of that.
Although MSU doesn't come home with many trophies, for Abby and William, it's about having fun. And for Brendan, he got a girlfriend.
We were in line to go on the dance floor at a competition.
Ball on three!
Well, and a group of friends.
The ballroom dance team is always looking for people to join their club. There are no tryouts and no previous dance experience necessary.
Coming up next, it was a little bone but a big problem for the Spartan basketball team. But another team put their heads in the game and came up with an answer.
And also thousands of Spartans come together for their first ever Izzo Legacy Run. Welcome back to Focal Point in this special edition of Great Things Spartans Are Doing.
And you can't mention the great things Spartans are doing without mentioning Tom Izzo. He's a household name here in Michigan, and 24 years here in East Lansing, Izzo means much more than wins on the court. He recently created a legacy fund in his name as a way to give back to the community. Alyssa Burr reports on the latest charity event called the Izzo Legacy Run Walk.
On a windy spring morning, thousands of Spartan fans gathered along with the men's basketball team and Coach Tom Izzo to participate in the first Izzo Legacy Run.
A 5K isn't an easy feat, and it's easy to get discouraged. But with a little determination and a lot of practice, it gets easier.
Take Bob Bates, for example.
2 years ago I started doing this, and it's just kind of become a thing.
But he's no ordinary runner.
I run 5Ks in full firefighter gear.
A firefighter for the Camden Fire Department. Bates has participated in different 5Ks and marathons all over the country.
Prepares my body for the situation.
Running in a firefighter suit,
Mind you, I won't do it with my boots. That's rough on your feet.
even without the boots, is a tough challenge.
Easy today, but when it gets really warm, it's really tough and very restricting on the body because of the heat.
But he says he does it for a reason close to his heart.
It's all about the veterans and emergency workers.
And while he didn't come in first or in second, you could say he left his own legacy at the race, earning third place for his age group, all while carrying an extra 45 pounds. Bates was met by the men's basketball team inside Spartan Stadium, who thanked him for the run and his service. A diehard Spartan fan, Bates thanked the team for giving him something more special in return.
I actually purchased the ball hoping I'd get to meet Coach Izzo. I didn't know the rest of the guys were going to sign it.
In East Lansing, Alyssa Burr, Focal Point News.
Keep an eye out for the next Izzo Legacy event in June. It'll be a charity golf event, which means plenty of time for you to work on your swing.
If it wasn't for the engineers here at MSU, who knows if the basketball team would have made it all the way to the Final Four. Focal Point's Lauren Wallenfeld shows us how Nick Ward made it back just in time for March Madness.
So the hand scanning tool uses infrared and visual cameras to approximate the shape of the hand in 3D.
Nick Ritchie had a plan.
And I ended up calling material sciences, and Professor Drizal called me back within 24 hours.
And actually, someone should give the Spartan trainer a hand. He may have saved a basketball season.
Well, this would be the complete model of his hand. So this is what was captured first.
Timeout taken minutes. Spartan Nick Ward fractured his hand.
But for Nick being a primary offensive and defensive threat, it was going to be a big loss for us to be without him for an extended period of time. Not just from a gameplay standpoint, but from a leadership standpoint and from a team chemistry standpoint.
Nick Ritchie's plan? To create a flexible brace for his hand.
But because it was a shooting hand, because it was a dominant hand, and because we wanted to try and bring back the student athlete as quickly and as safely as possible.
Ritchie found Dr. Tamara Reed Bush in the engineering building and asked for her help.
I said, most definitely, exclamation point.
It wasn't easy, but Dr. Bush and the rest of the engineering team designed the brace.
I think time was probably the biggest challenge.
In less than a week, the team came up with a custom brace for Ward.
It actually rides around the edge, and so that allows any force that hits the back of his hand to be distributed around this periphery rather than anything hitting the back where the surgery was at.
The collaboration was a success. Not only was Nick Ward able to play, but everyone else seemed to benefit from it as well.
So the faculty here benefit, the students benefit, and then Spartan athletics benefit. So I think it's a win-win-win situation. You can't ask for anything better than that.
In East Lansing, I'm Lauren Wallenfels, Focal Point News.
While Spartan fans were relieved that Nick Ward made it back to the court, now we'll have to wait and see if he'll take his hand and his talents to the NBA.
Hard work can make great things happen. Just take the story of an MSU pitcher. Injuries and waiting for a place on the team has not deterred this player from Port Huron.
MSU's men's baseball team's start to their 2019 season hasn't been ideal. They are 8-25 overall and are looking to turn things around. Danny Gieselman, senior at MSU, is just happy to be along for the ride.
Joining that team was definitely easily the best decision of my life.
Gieselman was on the club baseball team for 3 seasons, and his journey is nothing short of admirable.
He's a determined young man, you know, there's no doubt about it. You know, from coming to walk-on tryouts and just wanting to be a part of it and then taking advantage of his opportunity, it's, you know, shows a lot of character on his part.
So I decided to get my cleats dirty again and catch up with them.
Funny thing was, I was actually in the airport going to Florida to visit my parents with my girlfriend, and when I was standing in the security line, I looked and then I had a text from a 517 area code number saying it was from Coach Boss and give him a call back.
It was a neat phone call that I got to make to him.
At first, when I got the text, I thought that one of them was pranking me, so I didn't call him back, and then all of a sudden I realized the area code and actually figured it might be him. So then I kind of went into shock and I called him and I was just ecstatic.
Injuries were some obstacles Gieselman had to face.
Found out I had a torn labrum in my shoulder, which made it really hard for me to actually throw and get velocity on my fastball. So thankfully I was fortunate enough to play club baseball.
To get his arm back in shape, he made an unlikely friend, the I Am West wall.
So the days that we didn't have club practices, I'd go and just throw against the wall and progress, and move back farther and farther. And so that's kind of a fun story. And my friends joked that my best friend was a wall for the year.
All of the work it took could not take the smile off his face, and teammates like Adam Proctor have noticed.
You can tell that he wants to be here, so it makes you excited to be here too. If someone's, say, having a bad day and Danny comes up, he's going to be in a good mood. He's going to be smiling. So, I mean, it's hard not to smile when Danny's smiling at you.
So, what advice do players in similar situations need to hear?
Literally anything is possible. It truly is possible, because I came out of high school. I was probably I was the number 5 hitter on my baseball team and didn't even pitch in high school really, and then through hard work all of a sudden I'm here, and it's a literal dream.
Gieselman is looking forward to playing another season to continue his real-life dream.
One of the greatest things about MSU is its diversity. It's filled with students from all over the world with many different backgrounds and cultures. Denise Patterson introduces us to a mother and her son ready to take on the world.
Andrea Davis prepares for her day in her apartment by first making her favorite cup of tea mixed with a little honey, then by packing her bag with everything she needs for the day. You'd assume that she's preparing to go to work, but Cedria is actually preparing to go to class. In 1983, Cedria was forced to leave MSU.
I had to step out of school. It sat in my heart. I cried, but I left with determination to come back.
After leaving MSU, she married her now husband of 30 years, who she refers to as one of her best cheerleaders. He encouraged her to take on her education journey.
And so I enjoy seeing him and continue to enjoy seeing the things that he does around college, because that would have been me.
This mother and son duo support each other like no other. For Lamont, seeing his mom on campus was not unusual. He preferred to have family so close by.
It was actually beneficial because the experiences I was dealing with at my time in college, I needed my family support, so it was great that it was accessible to me within the East Lansing area.
Cedrina's determination stood the test of times. And 30 years later, she received her bachelor's degree in human development and family studies. And in May of 2020, she will cross the stage again, but this time with her son. Denise Patterson, Focal Point News.
Both Cedrina and Lamont are dedicated to serving the community and being examples of where determination can take you.
Wow, what a great story. I cannot believe that's going to be us in about 2 weeks.
I know, I'm scared, but it will be all worth it. Yes. That's all we have for this special edition of Focal Point. I'm Tierra Riddick.
And I'm Christine Kanerva.